Morning world of YouTube, hope you're doing great. We have a completely empty driveway. So what on earth are we working on today? Well, if you want to find out, stick with us. Morning, Callum. He has no idea he's on camera. And he's brought me a Costa. That's the perfect son-in-law, that is. Right. Cal, hope you don't mind recording. What we're doing is Audi A4 TFSI. What year is it, Cal? 09, is that right? Or is
2018.
that 2018 model? Found a problem. Cal, just quickly explain to me, what was the problem on this car?
The suspension's dropped.
The suspension's dropped?
Yeah.
In what way? How did you find out?
I mean, the gap between the wheel arch and the tyre.
Right, okay, got you. So I had a quick look underneath the car, and what we found was there's a donut right at the bottom of the spring, and they've completely disintegrated. Whether it's a common fault on these or not, we don't know, but what we do know is it needs to be sorted. So let's have a coffee and crack on. Right, so this is the offending item here. You can see it's completely disintegrated. And what we did, and I'll show this picture over here, there's a bit close up. There's a part number on here, and Callum's been and got the exact part number now. Cal, did you get this off eBay or was it?
eBay, yeah.
Yeah. So, not sponsoring the video, but if they'd like to sponsor the video, that's great. So we've got two to do. Never done them on this car before, just showing you anyone can do it. Cal's never done anything like this before, so I'm going to be showing Callum how to do it. So please go in the future on any car that he might have, he can do them himself. Right, first things first, let's get the wheel off. Okay, so we've got the wheel off and we've jacked it up under here on the rear subframe, and now we need to get this plastic cover off, which you can see underneath. And we just use this tool here to just pry those out, and then we can remove those. And there's two of those to remove, then hopefully this cover will come away. However, let me show you this. So we were hoping to just replace the donut, which goes in this area here, because you can see it's completely missing. But we found that. So we've got a broken spring as well. So at this point, we're going to have to go away and pick up a couple of springs so that we can go ahead and replace the spring on both sides as well as the donut joints. So let's fast forward to having a spring. So this diagram just shows that number 2, highlighted in red, is the lower donut joint where it sits to the bottom right in the lower hanger. What we've done, we've nipped off into Derby to Euro Car Parts just to pick up a couple of springs so we can finally get this job underway. Thanks, Euro Car Parts. This is the old spring. You can see it's snapped here. And we've been lucky enough to be able to get a couple of springs today. So all we need to do is take this off, which is the top donut joint. Get rid of the old spring. And here's a new spring. So this will sit in here like that, and the new donut joint at the bottom there, and that will go back in. So let's take you underneath the car now to show you exactly how this goes. Okay, so just to show you what we've had to undo, we had to undo the shock absorber bolt, as you can see there, and also the lower arm bolt there. So one here and one here. Those two bolts have had to be removed so that we could lower down. Get this torch to stay. Okay, so we could lower down the lower arm here, and this is where the lower donut joint sits. and it's got a locating pin there. And if I come around the other side, you should be able to see the locating pin up there as well. Okay. So what we need to do now is to get a pry bar to actually pry the torsion bar at the bottom down so that we can get the spring in. We hit a little snag. So we tried using a pry bar to push this down, but of course this side up here was hitting on the back of the rear hub. So what we've had to do is undo the other end here. Now the problem with that, this is a torsion bar, so obviously it's under torsion, and I think it may alter the geometry very slightly because we've not been able to mark it up very well where they sit up there in that hanger. Well, anyway, nonetheless, all we need to do now is jack underneath here, and to do that we need to actually remove this jack. So we're going to use the car's jack under here to support the car, and then we can put the actual jack under there and use that to compress the spring to put it into its rightful seat on that donut joint up there. And then we can proceed to put the other bolts back in. So we've slackened, we've not actually, this bolt here, we had taken it out previously, we put it back in, but we've not tightened it up, we've left it slack, so we've got some manoeuvre ability. It's not under torsion at all on the bar. So we'll get it all into position, then we'll tighten it up. Okay, let's go ahead and see if we can get this in, and then we'll pick the video up. Now at this point it's really quite straightforward. All we need to do is jack it up, the spring's in its seats at the top and bottom donut joint. We can get that rear cam bolt back through. Now we've set that to somewhere in the middle, just so we can get the camber something like okay to take it to its garage to have it four-wheel aligned, which we'd have to do when you do this job. Once we've done that, it's just a case of put that bottom plastic cover on, wheel on, and this side's done. So Cal's just completing putting the wheel back on this side, and what you're going to notice is once you lower it down off the main jack, the gap between the top of the wheel and the wheel arch is going to appear quite big, in part due to the fact we've got a new spring, but mainly due to the fact that it just needs to settle once we drive it down the road. So this side's done. Let's head over to the other side and see what problems we can find over there. Oh, what a job. Let's do it. Right then guys, we've done one side, we're going to get the other side done. A lot of hassle on the other side because we've not done them before and we were unsure of the best way to go about it. The car will need four-wheel tracking once we've completed it, but for now let's get this wheel off, let's get the spring out, get it replaced, because we're going to replace both springs today because the other one was broken, so we'll do the pair, get the donut joint repaired, and I'll show you the finished result. Okay, so we've got the wheel off. Now we need to get the axle stand under to support the weight of the car. Let's show you where the axle stand is. Okay guys, you see there we've got the axle stand under the rear subframe mount there, and that leaves free the bolts we need here and under here to drop this lower arm out so we can get the spring out. As you can probably see, to get a better angle at it, the donut joint down there is completely destroyed. So that's the purpose of why we started this job. But as we say, we've replaced the spring on the other side, so we'll go ahead and replace the spring this side. We've WD-40'd and cleaned up all of this. It's a 21mm bolt, by the way, that is. It's a funny old size, looking at the shape and design of the bolt head, the nut head, but actually 21mm will fit it deep. And these are all 18s, and the other side of that's an 18 as well. So they're all clean and we're ready to start undoing. So I'm going to get something underneath here, a little jack or something, just to support this while we undo the bolts, and then we'll get the spring out. We release the suspension bolt completely. That's the one you can see, big finger there, the middle one. The one on the end we've just slackened off, and we're now going to go ahead and undo this 21mm here, and we've got the jack supporting underneath the spring there. So we've wound that off, and that's your camber bolt, which is does in your toe in, your toe out. So we're now going to just remove that bolt all the way through, and then this lower arm, we'll just lower it down with the jack. So we've got the bolt out, and we're just going to now gently lower that jack down. The lower arm comes down, and that's releasing the tension on the spring. So once this is all the way down, we'll be able to just pull that spring out nice and safely. You see how the spring fell there? I'll just zoom in and show you again the state of that donut joint at the bottom. You can see it's completely disintegrated. So that's why we're going to replace that. And although the spring hasn't broken this side, we'll replace the spring as well. Right then, so let's go and get this spring out. What a job. Look at the state of that. Wow. So if you've got one of these cars, and it's not really that old to be fair, definitely worth considering getting a new donut joint for it. That's what's left of this one. Completely disintegrated. Absolute scrap. Spring this side is okay. Get this top donut joint off. Okay. Might need a little bit of lube on there just to get that off, and a little bit of prying, so I'll do that off camera, but we need to get that off. But the spring itself's okay, but we are going to throw this in the bin and put a new spring on. Let's go do that.
We'll have to put the old one back in.
I think so.
And then go from there.
Right guys, let me just show you something. Cal, just pass us the spring that we've just been supplied. This is the spring that we've been supplied in the box for the other side. So we bought two springs, identical, or should be, same part numbers on the boxes. However, that, two coil springs too many and they're too wide. If anything, I'd say that's probably a front spring, so it's been packed in the wrong box. So what we're going to have to do today, because we need to rebuild the car because he needs to use it, is we're going to have to rebuild it with one new spring on one side and one old spring on this side. It's not ideal, but it will be safe enough, and we'll get the spring changed again and do the job twice, I guess, another day. Oh well, that's the way the cookie crumbles. Let's get this put to the old spring and get it back on the car. Right guys, so we've got the top donut in there. We've got the spring in its position. Okay. And the bottom donut's there, and all I'm doing is just holding it up by hand, and we're going to get the jack underneath where the spring is, and we're going to raise this, and then we're going to put the bolt back in through there. Obviously this will need four-wheel tracking, as we said before, and just to remind you, we are using the original spring on this side because the spring we were supplied, although it was in the correct box with the right part number, it's actually totally the wrong spring. Marvellous. I love doing a job twice. That's starting to go into that.
Keep going, yeah?
Yeah, let's come round and have a look. Alright guys, so we've got the jack underneath there, and all we're doing is slowly jacking that up until those holes align up on the left hand side of this picture. Now tap it. We have the camber bolt through. Just going to get the nut back on there now, and then we're going to tighten everything back up. The old spring's back on with the new donut. Just about make the top donut there, and then the bottom one, the new one. So it's just a case of tightening all these up, setting them roughly where they were before, but it's going to go away and be four-wheel tracked once we've got the new spring on when we get a replacement.
What's that? Right, I'm on.
That one's back on. We've got those bolts in there. We just need to put the plastic cover back on now. And this job is as good as done. Put the wheel back on. And if we had a new spring in there, it would be finished apart from taking it for its four-wheel tracking, which we can't do here. Never mind. Right guys, so we're just going to get the wheel back on. Callum's just putting that on. We've got this cover to go underneath. It just goes up over the bottom arm, and these clips Give you a better view of that, wherever the camera is. These, they just push through the lower arm into here, and then we just push this end through. I'm sure you've seen these clips before. Push that end in, and that's what holds it all in. So while Cameron's putting that wheel on, I'm going to crawl under and get this on with a little light, maybe. And there you have it, guys. 2 little clips in, holding the plastic cover on. Wheels on. So we'll let that jack down. There you go, Cal, you can let the jack down. It's all good. We'll pull that out, we'll just nip these wheel nuts up, and then we'll give it a little drive, make sure it's okay. Cal, is this a job you want to do again?
No, never.
Never again. All right, let's finish this job off. Now, as always, guys, we're going to get the torque wrench out, and we're going to torque up those wheel nuts. Some people say just do them to FT, effing tight. That's not great. If you over tighten them, that can be just as bad as leaving them loose and your wheel falling off. So always get a torque wrench and know what setting you need for the lug nuts on your car. Let's do it. One. Done. 2, 3, 4. Oops. And the last job, we need to put these little caps back on the wheels and pull my trousers up. Always pull your trousers up. There's your locker. You want to put your 4 on the other side?
Yeah.
5? In the boot. Just push them on, Cam. Well, that's it. Job done. Right then, guys, if you've enjoyed this video and you found it entertaining watching us figure out how to do this, and you enjoy these kind of videos, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, you'll be notified next time we upload a video. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Ta-ra for now.